Okay, welcome to Let's Talk Birthrights, episode 1. I'm not seeing anyone else in the chat or the waiting room yet. I'm just gonna do the presentation. So I'm gonna see about sharing my screen so that you can all see the clips that I'm going to be talking about. Okay, so welcome to Let's Talk Birthrights. Episode 1 is about friends. I thought that was a good, accessible show to start with because a lot of us have seen it. And it's just a really good example. Surprisingly, as I was going through this, I noticed that there were a lot of positives, which I wasn't really expecting, especially for a show that is older like this. I'm gonna go back. Um, some of the more recent shows that I will be doing one of these episodes, Let's Talk Birthrights on, have more problematic behavior than what we're seeing here in the 90s and the early 2000s. So I thought that was really interesting. But if you stay for the chat today, you're going to leave with the code for an extra $50 off the Birthrights course. The registration launches on Friday. That is March 21st, the first day of spring 2025. And if you're catching the replay, again, that will be on the last slide, although I encourage you to stay for the presentation. So, there's going to be a few examples of rights during birth that I specifically see really good examples. And actually, some of them are good examples of birth rights being respected or being asserted by the woman in question. So, let's start with that first clip.
Breathe. 15 more seconds. 14, 13, 12, 11.
It'll be okay. Just remember, we're doing it for Jordy. Just keep focusing on Jordy.
Who the hell is Jordy? Oh, I don't have a son named Jordy. We all agreed my son's name is Jamie.
Well, Jamie was the name of Susan's first girlfriend, so we went back to Jordy.
Whoa. What do you mean back to Jordy? We never landed on Jordy. We just passed by it during the whole Jesse, Cody, Dylan fiasco. I got it. Hey, you have to sleep with her. I get the cramps.
Oh, that is it. I want both of you out.
What?
No, you sit. I don't care. I'm trying to get a person out of my body here, and you're not making it any easier. Step it up.
Thanks a lot.
See what you did?
Yeah. Listen.
Sorry, that's me laughing there because I didn't realize I was sharing my sound. So essentially, when it comes to the birthright I'm seeing here, I'm seeing Carol assert her right to dictate who is in the room. I thought that this was a really good example of where it is played for a joke, but the woman actually is asserting her birthrights where she's having a certain experience in labor and she tells everyone to get the heck out. And yes, it is funny, but it's also really indicative of the power that we have to determine who is in the room when we give birth. In the birthrights course, one of the things I go over is that you actually have the right to choose your provider. You have the right to choose if you have a support person. Now, there are some things that can get in the way of that, but in my three-part framework of understanding your birthrights and then asserting your birthrights, this is a really good example of asserting that second birthright where even if it's your partner or the father of the child, if you don't want them in the room, they aren't going to be in the room if you are able to assert that right for yourself. So again, I just thought that was a good example, and Carol wins this particular episode.
Okay, let's see what we got here. Oh, Fonzie dated triplets. This Fonzie person you keep referring to, is that another doctor? Oh, no. Fonzie is the nickname of Arthur Fonzarelli. The Fonz.
Not that weird, is it?
Weird. I don't want some guy down there telling me I'm, dilated a mundo.
To be fair, he doesn't seem to be impersonating Fonzie as much.
I'm just not fancy.
Again, it's not that he.
Well, we're just going to exit. I'll go back to the clip. But basically, I wanted to show that because the episode where Phoebe gives birth to the triplets is something that has actually bothered me since I was much younger and saw it for the first time. But as I watched it as an adult and as a legally trained adult, I wanted to point out the fact that she is actually also able to assert that birthright of dictating who is in the room, as far as giving a preference about her provider. So this guy comes in, and it's nothing clinical or any medical call he's making that is making her uncomfortable. He's just kind of weird, and she's able to say, "Go find me another doctor." So again, it's played off for a laugh. But I really do think that it's another important example of being able to assert your birthrights. I want to finish the clip because there's another half of this argument here.
Okay, Phoebes, this is Dr. Oberman. He has no strong feelings about Fonzie or any of the Happy Days gang.
You're going into what grade?
I'm actually a first year resident, but I get that a lot. See, I graduated early.
Me too. Ross, maybe I should have specified that I'd be needing a grown-up doctor.
Oh, no, really, I'm fully qualified to.
Doogie. I'm going to be having babies soon? Huh? Go! Go, little boy, go!
Okay. So I wanted to play that. Oh, someone's here now. Mom? My mom's here. Hi.
Hey.
So I just went over two examples of birthrights in Friends. So I did the part where Carol tells Ross and the other one, her wife, to get
Yes.
out of the room.
I can't think. Yeah.
The one where Phoebe tells the Fonzie loving doctor and then the Doogie Howser doctor to get out of the room. So specifically, that was to give an example of a woman's right to decide who's in the room when she gives birth. So in my three-part birthrights framework that I have, the first part is understand. You have to understand what one of your rights is, and it's important to understand that you have the right to choose your provider. You can fire
Yeah.
a provider, at any time.
Yeah.
So
Good to know.
yeah, as well as saying, I want a support person with me in the room, or I don't want a support person here with me in the room.
Yes.
So those were two examples of that. And then I have a couple more slides. So I'll move on to the next point. If you don't mind, I'll share my
That's
screen with you.
excellent.
I can still hear you and see you. Awesome. Okay. So the next part.
Okay.
Hey, Dr. Long, I've been at this for 17 hours. 3 women have come and gone with their babies. You gotta give me some good news. How many centimeters am I dilated? 8, 9, 3.
Just 3? I've dilated 3.
We are moving along, just slowly. Don't worry, you're doing great. I'll be back soon.
Okay. So, this is one of the things that I've been talking about is that in a lot of these birth scenes in shows, things are played off for a laugh. And that's kind of frustrating, but it is really cool in this circumstance because one of the things that you have a right to in childbirth is being treated with dignity and respect. And you have the right to clinically sound, evidence-based treatment. So this is actually a really good example of that, of all things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in terms of Rachel getting a doctor who's letting her labor in a hospital for 17 hours. And it doesn't seem that she's, I mean, it's a sitcom, so we're not, so the logistics are probably not 100%, there, but we're not seeing them push, oh, we need to give you a Pitocin drip, or we need to give you a C-section, we need to do this and that. And, Rachel's obviously not having a very good time. She's been at it for many hours. And the doctor
Hmm.
explains to her, this is what's going on. You're doing fine. I'm going to let your body keep physiologically doing what it's doing.
Uh-huh.
Of all things. And then there's one more clip with this same doctor for the next slide.
Okay.
That's pretty cool because as I went back to look over this and I thought about all the different shows where there are birth scenes that make my blood boil and my hair stand on its end, this is
Hmm.
so I thought it was a great one to start with. So
Oh, good.
yeah, let me share the next clip.
Dr. Long, I've been at. Okay, keep pushing. Push. Wait. I see something.
What, you do? You do? Oh my God! What's that?
It's the baby's buttocks. She's breech.
Oh my God, I thought you had two heads.
She's going to be fine. She's in a more difficult position, so you're going to have to push even harder now. Go.
Come on, go, go.
Rachel, you're going to have to push even harder. Nothing's happening.
Yes, you can. Hey, come on, you can. I know you can do this. Let's go.
You do it.
No. Let's go. One more time. One final push. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Okay. So could you see everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's that same doctor that was
Yeah.
that you've been at it for 17 hours, we're gonna let you keep going. So this is a few hours later. And in the middle of the pushing phase, the doctor notices that Rachel's baby is in the breech position.
Right.
I thought that was very significant because one thing that many women will find now is that a hospital birth, you'll hear that they won't let you vaginally deliver a breech baby. So, yeah, that
Wow.
says everything. One of the reasons is that many OBs are not trained in other types of presentations apart from the standard, head first.
Okay, that's wrong.
Yeah, correct. Because there was many different versions. There's many different normal presentations. Breech is one variation of normal, and that's clinically proven. There's evidence that shows that it can be safe to vaginally deliver a breech birth.
Uh-huh.
I thought it was really significant that in a pop culture instance, rather than them realizing, oh, her baby is breech, let's ring all the alarms and have us an emergency C-section. They let her
Hmm.
continue with her physiological birth. Um,
Yeah.
and so the doctor is also, I think, quite respectful because she stops and she explains, this is what's going on. The baby's okay, so we're going to keep having you push, and she kind of coaches her through it. I really like that there's no kind of belittlement or putting her down. Uh,
Yeah.
None of that. It's all very respectful care, and it's evidence-based care. Is letting her try for this vaginal birth because the baby's okay and she's okay.
Yeah. That
So
is nice.
yeah, I think that this was a really cool example of that particular birthright is being treated with respect, being treated with dignity, and having your provider give you evidence-based care, which is not the case. So in other episodes of this talk that I'll do, we'll see that that's not the case always. And they often, make everything into an emergency, and they kind of, I mean, it's TV, there's a certain drama factor, but I liked that even in this kind of fantasized world, this underlying birthrights example is a good one, which I was saying, for the 90s and early 2000s I thought was especially good. So I have one more example of postpartum rights that I wanted to share from friends, so I'll share my screen one more time. And go.
Yeah, keep pushing.
Okay. So I talked about birth rights. This is one of the postpartum rights that I wanted to put.
Just do it.
Oh my God. Oh, was okay. Was that too much pressure for him? Well, is he hungry already? I guess so.
You know, it's something funny about sneakers. I'll be right back. Oh, yeah, I gotta get one too.
Oh, I didn't include the last part of the video. So they go back and they make ask some questions of Carol about breastfeeding. So I wanted to share that particular moment because one of our postpartum rights is that we generally have the right to breastfeed wherever we have a legal right to be. Now, this one's not necessarily the best example of that because they're in someone's apartment. And if you're in someone's private home and they don't want you to breastfeed there, that's crappy, but it's not illegal. But I did want to show because, Carol's the one who, in the very first clip that I showed, asserted her birthright of, dictating who's in the room. And here she's using her postpartum rights to breastfeed where she wants. In later in the clip that I didn't catch, Rotz says, this is my son having lunch. It's going to happen a lot, so get used to it. So I imagine Carol's breastfeeding in the coffee shop and, everywhere else that she might be. So that's a great thing because, as I said, all 50 states, the U.S. territories, U.S. Virgin Islands, every single one has specific laws on the books to protect our right to breastfeed in public. And they're framed somewhat differently. Some of them are specifically say, women may feed their babies in public. Some of them specifically exempt it from like in indecency statutes, but every single state. So don't ever let anyone tell you or make you think that because you're in my store, or you're in the park, oh, children might see. You have the right wherever you have the legal right to be. So I just really liked that particular example. Um, and yeah, Mom, do you have any thoughts about any of those moments with those characters we love?
So I know I've seen it, several times, but just, it makes me sad now to hear those or hear and see those, like, oh, what did he say? I'm going to talk about a sneaker, or I don't know what the
Oh yeah,
heck.
something about something funny about a sneaker. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So, anyway, I don't know. It's kind of disappointing to see that, but
yeah. Right. And that's actually a really good point is that one of the things that can make it hard to assert our rights is the people around us, maybe not even necessarily the doctors and the other people in power, but like our peers, people in our friends group who don't support what we want to do. I mean,
mhm.
for example, a lot of times I have heard women who want to have a home birth. Their friends think, oh, that's, why would you want to do that? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And it's because they don't understand. And so then the woman that's made that choice for herself and her family, this is where I want to give birth, I'm using my right to choose where I want to give birth, then that causes doubt and it puts you in a position of having to educate other people, which is when you're pregnant especially a huge burden um,
Yeah.
on you. So that's a really good point. So so good things and bad things about the clips we saw in each one of those episodes. I thought in general it was positive. And I
Hmm.
think it's one of the only, certainly comedies I've ever seen where anyone's breastfeeding at all on screen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
So, and I thought it was cool that, her wife like grabs the pillow and like helps her, it's just, yeah. So you're right, to bring up the potential of that negative influence though, because that is a legitimate factor that can get in people's way of using their rights.
Yeah.
um, so on the screen here I have the code for the extra discount on the birthrights course, and the code is Phoebe. So anyone who's purchasing the course, just spell out Phoebe right here. Registration will open on Friday. That's in 2 days from today. That's the first day of spring, March 21st. So get excited.
Nice.
And only the people who were on this call or who are going to watch the replay are going to be able to use that code. And everyone else is still going to get a 15% discount for our launch. But the code is a nice little plus. And hang out with me next time because I think I'm going to do a How I Met Your Mother episode next time. Um,
Uh-huh.
and there are some like yikes moments in How I Met Your Mother and birth scenes. So yeah, but that's the next one I'm planning, and I'll sign off for now. Let me know, reach out to me if you ever have any questions. You can find me at Your Legal Doula, just spelled out, at Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Facebook, all the things. Um,
Nice.
and my website too, yourlegaldoula.com. So, signing off, and thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.